All right, today on lolz, we're bringing back a familiar face. You guys know him as a multi-millionaire maker champ. It is, of course, none other than RBX88. He's got some thoughts on these DFS GOAT debates. We'll hear what he's been up to, what he's been doing with his sauna, the late night orgies that cause him to miss the slates, all that good stuff. Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a GOAT. Vegas Dave thinks this is a GOAT.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
RBX88, it's been a while, man. What is it, about once a year? We broke our rule, though. You haven't won a recent Millionaire Maker, and we're still letting you back on.
Yeah, to be honest, I really haven't been playing that much, so it's probably less likely that I'm going to win one.
Well, I felt like Yuda had kind of inferred that maybe he was going to be sometimes scaling back his play, and then he won a Millionaire Maker. So maybe that's what you do, is you say, yeah, I'm not playing as much, and then you bank.
Yeah, maybe if I put, my pedal to the metal, I might snap one off again.
There you go. Brian, how are you doing today?
Good. I think the rules should be, total Millymakers. So he's got, 3 in the bag and a couple second places. That's like 30 minutes a time.
Second something.
It is.
Especially those big ones, yeah. I mean, it sucks kind of because
I had no chance to win that. I had one chance to win one, but the other one I had no shot though. So
you're blacked out.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just too many points behind the guy in first, and when I got second, he was like 20 points ahead. I had no shot.
So, I mean, the conversation that was happening on Twitter this week is it started with Yuda, who broke like a multi-year, I think, silence on Twitter and posted this Michael Jordan image meme here, and then tagged Whistles and Brian. For maybe the less internet savvy Brian, can you describe what Yuda was trying to say with this meme and why he was tagging you?
I think it's in reference to when Whistles was on our show and crowned Osmo the GOAT, and he's doing the Jordan meme from the Jordan documentary where he was laughing at, I can't remember who, but yeah. So saying he's saying, oh, who's the GOAT kind of thing after winning a milli on Sunday in the large field one, which is his first, I think, large field milli win.
Yeah. And this was also a really funny thing about this exchange, and then we'll hop over to Whistle's tweet where RBX was tagged. But Yuda and Whistles just both totally boomering it up with tweets that only people who follow both Yuda and Whistles can see. Because when you tag the first person, you have to follow both of those guys to see that, because it just looks like a reply to the algorithm. So this tweet didn't get near probably the public surfacing it would have gotten if he would have, actually just wrote something.
It's still got look, it's getting likes as you speak. It's still almost 100 likes, pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of followers.
So then Whistles chimed in the other day, and again adding Draftkings as a reply. Draftkings can fact check. Millymaker wins. Youdacao has 8. Chipotle DFS has 6. I have 4, but Chipotle has 2.5 million wins, and I have 2.5 million win. Youdacao and Chipotle have been playing for 10 years. I've been playing for 5. Who is the true GOAT? Wait, where did you get tagged in this, RBX? Weren't you tagged in this somewhere?
I tagged him. Oh no, I requoted or reposted or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
So what is your thoughts on all of this? This pissing contest for the greatest DFS player of all time, RBX. You got any hot takes?
Honestly, who gives a fuck? It's cool and all, obviously everyone plays fantasy to try to hit the Millionaire Maker, obviously Yuda, he plays infinite, buy-ins a week. So he's obviously has a more chance to hit. I mean, it's cool, but in the end, do they really care who is the GOAT or not? I guess obviously David can say
seems like he cares.
Yeah, he seems like he cares a little bit.
Yeah. Apparently they care.
But then so Brian did this is how you got tagged. Brian tagged you and said you have 3 in like 2 months and then retired. So based on that criteria, he's the GOAT. I mean, do you agree with Brian's assessment here that like for like pound for pound, like millionaire makers per minute, like nobody can probably top you?
It was within a year, I think. I did 3. I won 3 and got 2 seconds within like a year and a half, maybe. So I mean, that's very. I'm on the right side of variance there.
And that was 3 large field, or was there one smaller high buy-in?
It was 2 large field, a golf and a NFL, and then it was a 4K, the 444 or whatever.
And have you been firing at the Millymaker recently, or you said not as much?
No, I've been making 4 lineups every Sunday, and then I just max the showdown.
Okay,
and that's it. Yeah, I just play the showdowns. I've been focusing on that, and I just make like 3 or 4 lineups for the main slate, and I just play a lot of poker.
I was gonna ask, are you still in those Pot Limit Omaha streets?
Yeah. No, I've been doing really well at Omaha. I've been having a good year in poker. I've been studying a lot, and it's definitely showing an improvement on my game. I can still win.
Where are you studying? What are you studying?
PLO Mastermind. You can run different situations and run different like ranges in certain situations, like what your opening ranges are, what your check raising ranges are, your blockers, and all that crap.
Thank you for saying situations and not simulations and solvers, because we're not allowed to say those words on this show anymore. So
I go by feel. I go by feel. Fuck all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, someone in the chat, Andrew says you're a phone shitter, bro, now with how you build your lineups. Is that true? Just all vibes based? You just pull up the phone, rip them in?
No, I just throw in a few. For showdown, I do a little more research on it, but for like the main slate, I just kind of run something quick and I just pop something in and I just watch.
I just get a little sweat.
It's playing. People don't realize the swings in DFS. It's absolutely massive, and I didn't want to deal with it. So I know I can make money playing poker. I invested most of my money that I won, so I'm pretty much set there. And I just enjoy just playing small stuff, maybe like a few thousand here and there. I haven't even played at one NBA slate yet either.
That's pretty. I don't know what the word is, but like advanced, maybe a gambling mind you got there, because most people, they're not going to do that. They're going to keep firing
yeah.
And I think the variance thing comes from all your poker playing, because I feel the exact same way. Like it's funny coming from a PLO player saying like, I can't handle the variance. So like poker players would be like, what the hell is he talking about? I should never play this game. So
yeah. The variance is a lot lower, and the variance feels way easier to handle than DFS. It feels like it's almost nothing. Like, oh, I lose 50K or 75K, I just shrug my shoulders, and I just, that's like maybe like 50 or 100K will be like the biggest downswing I'd have in Omaha max, and like right. DFS, it's like 4 or 5 times that probably.
And 50, 100K, so you're probably playing like 10, 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 10 and a quarter.
That makes sense. That's and the games are tougher now, but yeah, when I was playing back in the day, it was like 40, 80, and 5-10 would be like a pretty bad swing in PLO, but the games were probably easier, and Hold'em would be like half or less than half, depending on the year. Year, some years you're just not going to lose. Like. The players were so bad, and like the rake back was decent too. So like even if you lost, 20K, like you'd get back like 15K in rake back or something, So like
the rake's actually good.
What's that?
The rake back's actually pretty decent. You can make a decent amount of money playing a rake back, even on the New Jersey sites.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, what? I think for instance the WSOP, when they have like all the bracelet events, I grinded the whole WSOP. I made 12K in rake back, just rake back.
Okay.
And that was like 2 months, maybe.
2 months. So like, okay, that's pretty good. I don't know if you did any best ball, but Underdog has rake back now. I saw somebody made $1,000 on Twitter in rake back, and like that's still not going to do it. Like compared to how poker was, because poker there's more pots being raked,
Right.
than DFS or best ball. So you probably can't be a rake back pro in either of these, but at least it's something. It's a start.
Right. I sent you my poker tracker graph for the last this year on Twitter. If you want to pull it up or something.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I sent it to you on.
Are you RBX? As we pull this up, is this almost exclusively online, or do you play any live poker?
This is all online. Live is like you just don't see many as hands live, and which obviously will decrease your hourly. The only thing about live is the players are a little worse than maybe a lot worse. I haven't been to the casino in a while, but and the games really haven't been running too much at in Atlantic City. But like there's like private clubs that you can play too online.
When you were mentioning just kind of like focusing more of your time studying poker, I assume you feel like the studying you put in that you can realize those gains more quickly than you could say investing a lot of time studying DFS or coming up with a process. Was that kind of a specific decision you were weighing?
Right. Yeah, exactly. You get to see the results a lot since I know so much about poker already. I realize my results, and I can realize how much I can make, and it depends also the games too. The players aren't very good in New Jersey. I'm probably one of the best players that plays. I've been winning for years, and no one really advances and changes their game. They just kind of play the same. So it's kind of probably sometimes a lot easier. Brick, it's probably sometimes easier to beat the regs than it is the fish.
Yeah, it's certain regs.
Yeah, certain regs. But yeah, this is my graph for the last 38,000 hands that I've played. So this is about like 3 or 4 months worth of hands. There's some hands I did miss though because I didn't have it turned on.
30. So 30. That sounds 10,000 hands. I can't remember if that's a lot or not a lot. 10,000 hands a month.
It's a fair amount. It's an average.
Is that
amount.
like 4 tabling?
I only play like 1 or 2 tables.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I was a lot higher than that. But you could play Hold'em. I think it's easier to multi-table Hold'em. Well, at least it was for me, probably because I was just better at it.
20 big blinds per 100 though is very high.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a long time now. 15 to 20 big blinds per 100.
Do you treat it like a job? Do you have like set hours? Like this is when I'm playing, or is it just like whenever you feel like it?
I take a lot more breaks than usual. I feel like that I get burnt out easily from like all the studying and the playing. So I feel like if I take like 2 or 3 days off, maybe a week, it helps me reset myself and I can think a lot clearer, and it makes me more motivated to play because everything gets stale after a while and you lose kind of motivation.
Yeah. I will just say you're mentioning, it seems like you have, as Brian was saying, like a very good, healthy perspective as like a gambler and an action player. And even just following you on Instagram, you seem like you're out there touching grass. You're out there with your dog, getting tattoos, hanging in the sauna and the hot tub. Yeah. You seem like you live like a very well-adjusted life with a lot of mental clarity.
Yeah. No, I do. I've been, I hired a personal fitness coach. Nice. She gives me all my workouts, and so I work out 5 days a week, and I track all my food and stuff. So I've been really like healthy and all about getting in shape because healthy body, healthy mind, and it's definitely working for me.
He also won a bracelet during that run. I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Which that one I'm jealous of. That one I'm real jealous of. Oh, you got it?
Nice. Yeah, I got it still.
Let's see here.
Yeah, it's everyone. This is everyone's main goal in poker is to win one of these. So,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
that's sweet.
How different? Because obviously you're very dialed in with the PLO cash game streets. Like, how big of a jump, like strategically, is that shift to playing PLO tournaments? Is it just a similar wavelength?
It's a lot different in the sense that you have to adjust your style. You just can't play every hand, or I think it's eight-handed, or no, it's six. It's probably six-handed most of the PLO tournaments. But you just have to play a lot. You have to play a lot tighter, and you can't play because you can't rebuy. So only in some PLO tournaments you can rebuy. If it's a freeze out, you kind of have to pick your spots cautiously. You can't really three bet so wide as you can in cash games. I mean, Brick knows exactly the lingo that I'm talking.
Yeah, I couldn't stand playing full ring cash, much less full ring tournaments.
No,
so
it's hard.
boring.
Yeah, it's very boring.
Max, short-handed, way more action.
Yes.
So one more question about the PLO stuff, because like your graph is insane. You're consistently beating it. How does that ecosystem stay alive? If you say a lot of players aren't changing, they're kind of doing the same thing. Are they just hemorrhaging money? Like, are there new fish coming in, new whales? Like, how is that sustaining you?
Honestly, I don't want to toot my own horn. I'm just that more advanced than all these fucking guys that play in New Jersey. The guys that play in Europe and stuff, they're fucking super wizards. But I play what I can beat.
Yep.
I don't have like an ego or like, oh, I want to play with the biggest, the best guys and the highest stakes. I don't care. I could play 50, 100 if I want to. I enjoy playing 5, 10, 10, 20, 25, 50. I can beat those guys. I know I can win money. So the guys that play those games, that they play very face up, and I take advantage of that too. I just put a lot of pressure on them in different kinds of spots where I know they can't really like call down. I have a very good feel of what their ranges are in certain hands. So yeah, that's how it works basically.
And I assume that's hard, right? Because you hear from a lot. I mean, the normal kind of thing in poker, right, is I want to ladder up stakes. Once I beat this game, then I go up to the next level. But it seems like you're just kind of content of like, why would I go risk that at the higher level, have this learning curve when I know I can just consistently earn a good living at this level?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically like, I wouldn't say it's free money, but it's like consistent money. And I won't have like the swings like I would in DFS. I can steadily make, good money per month while I have like my investments and stuff going on too. And I still like playing poker too. It's fun for me.
That's why there's more poker players, I imagine, because a bunch of them are like, oh, I can actually pay the bills right with this, where DFS, you either bank early or you're pretty much done,
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's probably one of the reasons why it hasn't gotten that supernova popularity like poker did at certain points in time. The other ladder, Pete, in poker isn't just stakes; it's head to head. So like they want to be the head to head lobby monster.
Right?
Are you playing head to head? This kind of and it also makes me think about how you don't give a shit about the GOAT conversation. This is another mindset difference of some people where like they want to be the head to head end boss and play the highest stakes,
right?
Versus someone who's happy playing, 5, 10, 10, 20. I mean, 21 big blinds per hour is going to be a nice payday, but something even less than that, people would be happy with.
Yeah, no one plays me heads up. So if I set the tables, no reg comes and plays me. There's a point where I was winning so much that some of the regs won't even sit three-handed with me if I'm playing a fish. That's how much I was winning. So I basically can play or get like anyone. If anybody wants to sit me, I don't care. If I'm playing like a fish heads up, they can sit. But there's a point where they won't even bother sitting because I would just win that quick. Or if I was running hot, especially, a lot of people would stay away.
Have you had anyone that has impressed you then that you're like, hey, I'm not going to battle with you. I'll just continue to stay in my lane or pick my spots? Or that just hasn't happened in the New Jersey games?
No, there's definitely guys that play in New Jersey that I'm like, they'll actually battle me. They have like these egos that they always want to play the best and try to beat the best. But I don't give into that. It's a waste of time for me. If I'm like very bored and I want some action, yeah, I'll do it. I'll play. But I'd rather do something else. It's just I used to be like that. I used to battle everybody, but I cut it out after like I bought my house and all that crap. So
some people get older. And
yeah, wiser.
Some people have orgies and buy houses.
Yeah, how do the orgies fit into all of this, just new healthy, mindset-focused RBX 88 lifestyle? Because this isn't the same guy we initially talked to a few years back.
Yeah, well, I still have my fun with my women. So
I was gonna say Pete's got it backward. This is so he can get in shape and have more orgies. What are you talking about?
I'm just letting I'm leading the witness here.
Yeah, no, my performance is getting really good.
There it is. This is a fun hypothetical from our guy Nelson, who was on the show last week. By the way, if you guys missed that episode with Nelson Adcock, make sure you guys check that out. It's on the podcast feed and on my channel. He says, what would you guys peg the chances that a theoretical greatest DFS player ever ran bad at the beginning of their career and quit? So if they would have had that bank early on, like you're talking about, they would have gone on to be the GOAT.
I would say pretty high. You understand the question, Gio? Like he's saying like, like some guy who would be a stud DFS player, the best brain player, also like a computer expert, but like he started playing and it just ran super bad and he dumps 10K and he's like, what am I doing? I'm out of here.
Well, to be fair, I lost like 100 and 150K at first. So I was about to quit, and then I gave it a few more shots, and I hit. So
you hit the million, or you hit like 100K?
I hit 100K.
Yeah.
So I broke even, and then I kept going, and then I hit the million. And then I was like, whoa, okay, there it is,
So to answer your question, Nelson, it isn't a hypothetical. RBX is that person.
Right. And he's and he's the greatest, and he did it. So
that did it. Yeah.
That's
tough.
And can we point out the difference between like Youdacao and RBX and not normal people, right? Normal people aren't dumping 150K into DFS, before they even hit 100K. Like this just isn't happening. And like even those old sabermetrics and the basketball version of that guys, like on their forums, like they think gambling's for dummies and like they might not even be betting. So like if you add in all those guys too, I would say it's like 100% that like the best player ever probably didn't even try. And then if you just count the guys who tried and failed, I would say there's a real good shot, like 50-50. That someone who would be the best ever just gave up.
But wouldn't you say that in that hypothetical, then that best player ever didn't have very good bankroll management? Like, isn't it the thing with poker too? The guys who have leveled up, it's because they beat the stakes they can, then move up, beat the stakes they can. I mean, in that hypothetical, it's like they just came out playing the Millymaker, got dusted for like 20 straight slates and then left. But it's like, wouldn't they have been beating the smaller games first, like had a proven track record? Wouldn't they have a process of evaluating their play? It seems like a weird hypothetical that such a brilliant mind would not be able to manage their bankroll and understand the variance.
I don't know. Not really. Like, playing for 10 cents is boring.
Yeah. Especially come from poker. What am I going to
But the implication then is they're saying like the game is like too hard to beat or whatever, right? If they quit and stop playing.
Yeah. It's like I think like the idea is kind of like the inherent variance is so dramatic that even the best player in the world could lose for 6 months straight.
Mm-hmm.
Possible.
And so like let's say that happens right when the theoretical best player ever starts.
Yeah. That's
entirely possible. It's not like everyone is 21, at college and they put their beer money in and start playing 10 cents and then they would. I think also it depends on what time. So like if they started in 2013, I think it'd be a lot lower than if they started in 2017.
Yes,
the games are a lot harder, and they probably could have donked their way into getting good. Also like the best. I think of this as like the theoretical best player in the world's probably not the best player in the world when they start. They kind of just need to maintain some sort of stay away from bad luck and then get better and figure it out and then start developing however their own system is going to work for them. If they're the best right from the beginning, then that's a different conversation too.
Right.
Poker though, way less. Like if you put one of those graphs like RBX's graph, but just for your average poker player versus the average DFS player that Nelson makes, right? I mean, those tweets were a long time ago, but if we compared it, it would be so much more dramatic, the variance in DFS compared to your average poker player. I'd love to see it. I bet it would.
I sent you my DFS graph too. And you can see the swings. You can see the swings that I've had over the period of time that I've played. There's a few big dips there.
Where'd you send it?
On Twitter.
I don't see it. Let me refresh.
So what would be the parallel? So we talk about slates.
Hold on.
You know, we talk about how best ball is just one slate. You get 17, 18 main NFL slates. What is the poker equivalent of a slate? Is it a session, not a hand? Like, what would be the slate equivalent?
So back in the day, Sunday was the day that we used to have all the big tournaments. Just like in DFS, they got all the big stuff on Sunday. All for football. But for poker, like all like the big tournaments that you can win 30. Obviously, the first place prize is way less significant than it is in DFS. You could win like 40, 50, but during WSOP online, you can win like, I would say 100 to 150,000, maybe 200,000 max. But with like the other, like GG Poker has massive prize pools where I think they had the biggest tournament recently. It was $3 million for first or something. And a 5K buy-in.
So we're looking at his graph here. It looks this doesn't look very swingy to me.
I was like, where are the swings here?
There is one that was like 200, and there's one was like maybe 400.
Yeah,
okay, these guys right here.
It looks like you're currently on a kind of 400,000 downswing.
Yeah, no. Well, I stopped basically. I've played maybe like. I checked with DraftKings. I'm only down like maybe 5 or 10K this year, and
this is old. It looks like
yeah, but it's just from 20 to 23 when I basically like called it quits.
So it seems like if this chart is any indication, you were basically like, I can either continue dealing with some of these big downswings and maybe chip away at some of my big lifetime profit, or I can just completely reduce the volume of my play and pretty much guarantee myself to be a lifetime big winner in DFS.
Right, exactly. I know I can make money playing poker, and I had a few investment opportunities, and I was like, you know what, I want to buy a house, so I put my money into the house. Obviously, you have to pay taxes on this fucking shit. So I had to pay that, and that made me fucking nauseous. And then I made other investments, and before you know it, it's like, do I really want to risk to win 100K and risk 500K to win? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know where you're gonna hit, so you have to keep playing to realize your variance. And I've hit my probably the highest side of variance you could possibly think of. So I was like, hey, you know what? It took me a while to quit because I love playing. I love the strategy. I love the game theory. So I finally got out of it. I didn't even play any golf. I didn't play any baseball, and I haven't played any basketball yet. I just like football. So
it's hard to look at that graph because of the Millymakers, though. But if you look at the early red marks there, you could that I'm assuming those little bumps in the early stages are 100Ks.
I can show you my.
And they're just so small because it's
relative to
3.5 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So you could see then after January 21, where he is going, up and down hundreds of thousands of dollars, of dollars. He banks again, at least one or two there in January 22. And then he starts losing again. He's like, why do I want to be on this carousel?
I sent you my just NBA I sent because that was my second favorite sport. I sent you my just NBA only, so you can see more of like the 50Ks and the 100Ks. You can see it's a lot more little more clarity.
Yeah.
So you have, so what's your final, your tally in lifetime DFS profit is over 3 mil?
Yeah. I would say around there, yeah.
All right, let me pull up this NFL one.
I mean,
Or,
yeah, I mean,
That's NBA. That's NBA.
Yeah.
you played that variance perfect, honestly. Like you gambled like 500K.
Yeah, yeah. That's about right. I definitely gambled 500K back for sure.
Right, which is fine when you get up to 3.5.
Right.
Because you're also like, you're kind of testing it. Like, okay, am I this fucking guy? Am I this guy who's gonna be winning $1 million every other 6 months? So like you gambled enough where like you didn't like, you can't look back on this 20 years and go, oh, I didn't try. Like, you tried for 2 years, 500K. That's fucking plenty.
Yeah.
And you still leave with 3 million minus the bloodsuckers taking half of that.
I think sometimes people have to ask themselves, I did ask myself this, at points, when is it enough? Like, when's it enough to stop and, move on and do other things too, and put your time and money and effort into other things? Because no one wants to have 400 or 500K swings. I mean, like I said before, everyone wants that $1 million score. I happened to get lucky and get a few of them early on. So and then I realized after, I'm like, wow, this shit is very high variance, extremely high variance. And people don't realize how much entry fees people put in a week. Only people show you their winnings. They don't show you, a lot of people are not very transparent when it comes to, how many buy-ins they're in for every week, every Sunday, every slate.
Yeah. It's huge.
Well, and I think it's interesting because even when we've talked to a lot of top players, I remember the conversation with Ricky D, with Yuda, lots of them too, where they're like, all of them have mentioned that same thing of like looking at what's the next thing, potentially being ready to move on. And then you talk to him and Yuda's like, I just love watching football. I love making DFS lineups. Ricky D's like, I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep doing it. Like it's just my habit. I like the action. And it seems like that part of you, like you are an action junkie. It does sound like a thing, but it sounds like you're able to really remove your emotions and degeneracy from it in a way that's allowed you to just stop playing. Like the volume shift you went from playing to now playing is pretty drastic, like almost cold turkey. Yeah,
it literally is. I'm literally making 4 lineups on a main slate on Sunday. I put in maybe $1,000. And then I max the show. I find like there's a bigger edge in showdown, so I try to focus in on that. It's one game, you can focus in on it, and you can get a lot different.
That's exactly how I recommend people play too. If they're not going to go full time, like 3 to 4 lineups. Make sure they're not like exactly the same, and just like
I enjoy it.
Yeah, and just don't go crazy. And if it's like a showdown or whatever, just make sure it doesn't have a ton of dupes. Just figure out a way where it's not going to be super duped, and then, that's it. Don't waste your time. It's funny too, because like he, like people probably in the beginning of the video were like, oh, he's such an arrogant asshole, saying he's the best poker player or whatever in New Jersey. But like it takes, like if he was arrogant, he would have gambled off another $1 million, theoretically. Who knows? But
how many people do you think would have kept going if they were me?
A lot.
Like if you had like out of 100 people, out of 100, how many?
90%. Yeah.
90 would keep going. You think? Wow, that's
90 ex-poker players.
Yeah.
Like guys like you, similar to you, like John Doe. I don't know, 50, 60 probably would have still went thinking they know more than they do.
Well, the other thing, RBX, there's not a lot of, I guess, like Yuda and like Chipotle, so maybe it's not a perfect analogy, but like half and half of like the top guys have gone into some form of content or touting too, where playing alongside of your play or alongside your touting is almost a necessity or a requirement too. Like you never felt that burden of like, man, I got to keep playing because I'm giving out picks and people are signing up to rbx88.com. Like that had to help you pull the plug a little bit more too. You didn't have like social equity built up in it.
Right, because I don't really give a fuck about it. I think it's all fucking a scam anyway.
Touting?
It's like it's all bullshit. I mean, they're just like people just want to get subs and money just to feed their DFS addiction. I mean,
but you subscribed. I've seen you posted screenshots of the stochastic stack tool and stuff.
Well, yeah, I need some kind of basis to go off of. You know what I mean? So I like stochastic because it's very easy to work around and all of that. But as a tout, as like giving advice and all of that, I feel that like I've only met a few people that actually like it. I'm not saying any names, but I feel like there are some people that do it just to get subs and try to just trick people into thinking their stuff is good.
Please say names. That's what this show is here for.
Oh, Big T's a massive fraud. There's no doubt about
it. You went so quick. Normally with my guests, I feel like I have to really pull it out of them. You know, these Yudas and whistles and stuff. You took one follow-up question to get the goods there.
Whatever. I'm just being honest. That's all.
Back to the swings, whatever you mentioned, Ricky D. He just did the Takecast, Pete. I don't know if you listened to.
I did. Yeah.
Davis. I haven't finished it, but he said in there he won $1 million like I don't know a couple weeks ago, and he said that broke him even.
Wow.
It broke him even on the season or whatever, not overall. But I was kind of shocked when Yuda said his biggest swing was like 2-3 million. He was on our show. I don't know if you caught it, Gio, like whatever.
I watched it while I was at the gym. Actually, it was great content.
Yeah, he said he only swung 2 to 3 million. I thought for his volume I thought that was kind of low. I would have guessed more for the amount.
Did he say how many buy-ins he has a year? Or did he say how many buy-ins he has in about a year? It's got to be like 30 million at least.
That he bets.
That he like in entry fees.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know, but yeah, that sounds. It might even be higher than 30 million. I would guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing Ricky said that on the way he framed it is like a lot of people from afar are like, oh, you won the Millymaker, blah blah blah. But at the levels he's playing, he said it was more relief than anything because you're fine. Like you have to win that Millie to be a profitable player at those volume levels.
Of course.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like. They're saying in chat, like Marcus is saying 2-3 million still swinging. I mean, it's fucking crazy, man. So like you just think of Gio's 500,000 swing, but you were probably playing, if I remember correctly, like a tenth of what Yuda probably plays, maybe even less. Like you, I
wasn't even that much. No, I was not. I was playing medium volume, and I wasn't playing high stakes, and I was swinging that much.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So not even lower than that. So you think that 500 now, obviously there's skill differences here,
of course,
but like he could, just multiply times 10. Well, if it is 1/10, I would say it's less than 1/10. So like, I don't know, 2-3 million sounded low to me. I would guess like Mock Lovin probably has swung $5-10 million with his volume. It does not surprise me. It's I don't know about the finance guys, but other than that, I can't imagine a swingier way to make a living.
It's a lot stressful too, Yeah. It's really not for your average show, that's for sure.
Yeah. I do. It is like an under talked about part of that too. And that's why it is good. Like, I feel like Ricky D has been one of the probably best at conveying like the non-glamorous side of that. And it's like, Ricky takes down these millions, you see him atop the showdown, but you don't see all of the entry fees, all of the other slates. And I mean, if you want to know that, I mean, Ricky's is a winning, very successful player. Like, think about all the touts that you don't see post anything for, 3 months and then post their winning thing. I mean,
it posts a 5K win.
Slates. Yeah. It's
back when I was doing some videos on my channel, I would say like you had to like win 100K a month, basically. Like you should probably win 100K a month. And that doesn't happen that much anymore. And so like, cause you could just do the math, it costs 2 to 3K to buy in for the 150. That's just one GPP. If you just do that one GPP and you lose, 30 days, a full month, like just do the math, and you gotta win. And so like, and now the prize pools are even more winner take all ish. 100K to first, 10K to second, 15K to second. It just increases the variance even more, and you're looking like, you get back 25 to 50% on your average
slate. Right.
That doesn't even mean you were bad. Like, you did a bad job, right?
Yeah, like when you're up top, you have to win, basically.
Yes, exactly. If you take, so like, not to make him feel worse than he does, although he won pretty good. Smiz, speaking of touts, I don't know if you guys saw, he painted the leaderboard on the this last Millie on Sunday. He got like third, fifth, ninth, 13th, whatever, but he didn't get first. Yuda did. That's like, fucking give up. You know what I mean? Like, not that he's did anything wrong. It's just like, your variance, bro, is fucked. Like that happens. You have to win. Like, you have to get that Millie, because it's not gonna. It's very unlikely to happen again. It doesn't mean he's bad or whatever. It's just the way it is. And shit, now I say this, he'll probably win this weekend and shove it in my face. But like when you paint the leaderboard like that, and I don't even recommend a style that paints the leaderboard either. I would be like a little more diverse and have more shots on goal. Like, even when a Geos wins, his winning lineup was like just one of the random ones that wasn't in his core for PGA, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was
so
that
like
was
not that I'd have to like look. You could still paint the leaderboard with some diversity in it. But like when you get up top 10, like, you gotta win, and like, it sucks when the guy made a 3 at the end of the game and it drops you back 4 spots, and like, it's like,
Brian, are you
second's brutal too?
Brian, are you telling me to quit Battle
What?
Royale after I painted the Battle Royale leaderboard? I've been waiting for you telling me to quit. Where's that speech?
No, well, maybe you should, Pete. Actually, I've been meaning. No. This is free money. We got a new strategy, Pete. Me and you were both just up there at the Battle Royale leaderboards. If they would keep the damn tournament active, so I could finish some drafts on Sunday.
I know. RBX, it sounds like that your mindset with like PLO cash. It sounds like you would have some interest in kind of like the Levitan stuff in grinding DFS cash, where you could get some good action, limit some of the wild swings, and still get to enjoy, grinding football. Do you play any NFL cash?
I've heard from a few people before that the cash is high rake in DFS. Is that right, Brick? I'm not sure. I played cash maybe once, maybe.
It's been a while since I only play cash on Yahoo now, but like different. Like, double ups have different rake than 50-50s. And like, you're supposed to, like, if you really want to grind it, like, look at what each one has a slightly different rake structure, and you could like save money by entering only specific ones. But yeah, it is pretty high compared to poker, I think. And the edge is you cannot get 21 BBs, you can't get a big edge, and it's still swingy, because if you run one cash lineup,
right,
bet 5-10K and a whole bunch of 50-50s and head-to-heads, like, you're probably going to get back like $20 or 10K.
Yeah, no, it's
head-to-heads is a little different, but with the double ups and 50-50s, where poker, like, that's not going to happen. Like, you can get stacked for three buy-ins or something, and then just call it quits for the day, and then start.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. And if I hit a certain threshold, I just leave the table. I don't care how good it is or nothing. It's like, it's very hard to hit that variance and try to make it back. A friend of mine, Dan Zack, a very long time ago, he ingrained it in me that, like, once you lose a certain amount of buy-ins, like, you should just leave. It's very hard to make it back.
Yeah.
Just don't hang around Dan Zack too much, or next thing you know, you'll start drafting 5 tight ends on your best ball teams, RBX.
Oh, you know who Dan Zack is?
Yeah, he became a household name in the best ball streets this year because he was running his sims and people were posting screenshots of his 5 tight end lineups. Did you talk any best ball with Dan?
No, I've met Dan playing. I don't know Dan a long time. He actually, a lot of people thought I was a fish at PLO, and he was always the guy that was so curious about me. He finally got to meet me. We got along, I like Dan a lot. And he goes, he's actually very good. He comes off as a fish, but he's very good. So that's why, like, a lot of people, like, when I made so much because I would come off as a fish and I would talk shit in the chat too and get under people's skin.
That's funny.
What do you think of, speaking of fishes? Do you think any of like the big name DFS guys that you just didn't respect their game?
More people need to be a little more transparent and show like the roto tracker. It's so simple. And obviously a lot of people use the roto tracker to keep track of their stats. Is that the only thing? Is roto tracker? Or is there anything else?
I think
ETR Solver has one now. Run the Sims has a bankroll tracker. There's a couple out there now. Yeah.
So I'm sure like a lot of people that do this full time have some sort of system like that. And I would like to see more people post their stuff. I'm not afraid to. I've lost. The reason why people it's the touts that don't show what really what they're losing. Not so. I think I can't remember anyone who showed like how much they've lost. Like a lot of people, they go lose, as Brick said before, and then they just post like a 10K win. Oh, look at me, I'm winning.
Yeah.
There is an argument. I'm not going to defend touts again, but just generally speaking, there is an argument for like what we were talking about, how swingy it is earlier. Like the best player in the world could be down 2 to 3 million, as we know, because Yuda told us firsthand. And then you post Yuda's graph right at the end of that downswing, and you're like, look at this donkey. No one try to figure out what he's doing. He's a fish. I'm sure every stud DFS player has a graph point like that. So if you're like some guy who's pretty good and you're only playing GPPs, playing 150 each night, that's it. That graph needs to be about 10 years long, maybe even longer. So
Agreed.
I could understand why somebody wouldn't like necessarily want to show it, and they still could like theoretically have something to offer other people. But like, I mean, obviously if people want to show, I don't give a shit. But I think there is a semi-strong argument for why someone wouldn't.
I think the core reason is that they don't want to deteriorate from losing subs. Like, oh, he's losing. Nah, I'm not subbing. Subs want to see winning. That they like. It's deceiving, basically.
Well, yeah, because what you're really trying to do is you're trying to build like a FOMO feedback loop of like, oh my God, these guys just keep winning. Like, oh, holy cow, I got to get subbed up over there. And
right,
so
exactly.
the incentives are not aligned from like a marketing and public perception perspective. You want to portray consistent winning. That's how, and then it's just so undeniable. Like all these guys do is win. It's like when a sports betting tout is like, I'm up like 8,000 units over the past 6 months. I can't lose. And it's like, all right, I'm going to FOMO for that. But what's actually going on with tournaments, it's like a lot of brick, and then a bing. Like my guess is if people paid for Yuda's like top 10 lineups every single week or whatever, they would be losing,
yeah,
losing,
exactly.
losing. He would lose all of his subs. This guy just keeps getting dusted. And then the 3 people who were left to roll out the CJ Stroud triple stack then get to share in the profits. But that's not good marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that's why I think it rolls underneath the line of scammy, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, no one's going to deny that. Like, I just think there's a lot of companies that act that way. Marketing is generally can be pretty scammy all around. But
I won't even go so far to say scammy, but like going back to like incentives not being aligned. So like most sites put out, their cash game plays, the top plays, the core plays, right? Those are the best plays. You can put those out. And if those fail, you guys say, sorry guys, those guys all projected for the best. They were the best plays. I mean, what do you want us to do? That's the process or whatever. But then it's like, how do you win these tournaments? Well, you're leveraging the best plays. You're making pivots off of these. If you're always giving out the pivots to those plays, your subscribers are going to be losing. And yet to leverage that and win tournaments, you're having to go against the best plays a lot of the times. And so again, like the incentives of how that work are just completely distorted.
mean, you could give advice.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've done on this show. So, like, I mean, we're
Yeah,
not charging anything.
I don't mind if someone asks me a question and asks for a piece of advice. I give it to them. I'm not gonna sit there. Oh, you owe me $20 for the tip. You know, if someone asks me, I'll give it to them. You know, people are always welcome to ask me, but that's one thing I would never do is like touting and trying to get subs and stuff. So many people have asked me why I never done it. You can make so much money. It just did never really interest me.
Have you ever coached?
Poker I've coached, yes. Because people have messaged me in like the poker chat, and they go, "Hey, do you do coaching by any chance? You know, like recreational players." So I've had a few people who I've done coaching for in the past.
How do you teach vibes?
It's not teachable.
You owe me $200 bucks.
Oh, that's incredible. So what else are you? So you're working on your lifestyle. You're playing lots of PLO. You're talking a few showdown lineups and just living the good life.
I'm working now on. I hired an instructor. I've been working with to get my concealed carry gun license.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've been going shooting, trying to go twice a month, and I've been hiring an instructor like once every 2 weeks or so too.
Is this because of the ongoing sim wars? You felt like you had to kind of like, you know.
I always liked guns, but I never got into it until I started buying more guns. So I had a really good time shooting and learning and stuff. It was fun for me. And so the instructor says, "Oh, when do you get your concealed carry?" He goes, "I can train you so you can you have to pass a test, like a physical shooting test, to get your concealed carry here in New Jersey." So I've been working on that.
I've been trying to get my brother to do the same thing with me. Like, let's go buy guns and get trained on them. Oh wow, look at that. He hasn't been down with it yet. My argument is, what happens when the apocalypse happens? Don't you want to have a few handy guns around and know how to use them? I mean, I'm not saying like I'd go out and be a hero or go. I want to go hunting too. Just to feel like not such a coward, like at least kill my food for just once in my life.
Would you show up with your fish gloves on, Brian, in all camo?
Yeah, I'm not skinning that shit. Fuck that. I'll hold it over my shoulder on the back to the processor or something. But
you got to get a nice picture of your kill though, with the smiling and everything.
Okay, I'll do that too. I mean, just so I'm not such a hypocrite.
I feel like you two out like camping and on a hunting trip. I mean, that just sounds like a buddy comedy movie that I would watch. I would watch a film crew come follow you guys around there.
You want to be the writer of it? You want to write it up?
Yeah, maybe it'll be like kind of documentary style. We'll have some loose writing, but I want you guys to have a lot of improv going on with
his new lifestyle. I don't know if he's going to drink. I mean, I'm going to be hammered that entire trip. So.
I never was really into drinking. I never liked drinking. I have a bar in my house that I don't even touch. It's just for guests, really. I never really drank.
Yeah, do you smoke?
I just hit my vape with that has no nicotine in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like sticking things in my mouth sometimes.
Orgy. All part of the orgy.
What I do want to say, though, I did, when Brick was speaking of the apocalypse, I picked up one of those FNP 90s. I don't know if you've ever seen them from like the Call of Duty days, but it's the gun that looks like an alien gun.
Right.
Yeah. So I picked up one of those, and I have one. I shot it a few weeks ago. Damn, that thing is fucking fun.
You have to probably store that at the gun store or something, right? Like, where do you store that?
No, I have it in my house.
Oh, okay, all right. That's pretty sweet. My buddy has another gun from like a Call of Duty. Same thing. What was it?
M1 Grand? No,
not Grand. It's like it's an automatic. God, I can't remember. G10 or something. I can't remember what it's called. I have to look up the games. But anyways, he bought a game because he bought a gun because of video game.
Yeah, I saw it when I went shooting, and I saw that gun up on the display, and I was like, I've been looking online for them. They're always out of stock. I saw it and I was like, I want that right now. And he goes, are you sure? It's really expensive. I'm like, I don't care. I want it.
How much was it?
It's like 2,500.
Is there any other impetus to all this, or you just enjoy it, or is this like, if the grid goes down, I want to be able to protect my dog in my house?
That too, obviously. Yeah, it's a home. There's nothing better than having a home protection too. It's like a very it's a peace of mind too. If you ever have like a home defense weapon, if everything ever went down, as someone once told me, I rather need a gun. Wait, what was it? I'd rather have a gun and need it than not need it, and you know what I mean.
We got you.
All right, George W.
Did you watch?
I'd rather ask forgiveness. That type of quote.
Yeah.
So like ask forgiveness. Be judged by jury or peers rather than be lifted by a jury of your friends or something. There's like 6 different sayings.
Did you watch the show Last of Us, Gio?
I have actually, and I actually was just in Florida for the Halloween Horror Nights with a few buddies. I met them online playing video games, and I met them in Florida for Halloween Horror Nights, and there was a house there that was The Last of Us, and it was awesome. So yeah, I really like it a lot.
Kind of what you were describing reminds me of Nick Offerman's character in that show where he's hunkered down and he's got all the booby traps and his war chest over there, and he's just carved out this very idyllic life amongst this zombie apocalypse. It just sounds like what you're kind of building for yourself in New York, RBX.
New Jersey,
my bad.
Yeah. No, I've been collecting a lot of guns, and eventually I'm gonna build like a gun room and have like a bunch of cool shit in there. So it's definitely fun too to like have all different kinds of cool guns and what they can do.
The Last of Us, Pete. That was the show you were referencing.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
It was.
Did you get a place in Florida? I know last we were talking, you were looking at places down there.
I was going to. Then it fell through. I made a bid on the house, but no, I haven't. But I'm gonna start looking again now that the prices seem to drop drastically, though, from maybe a year ago.
Yeah, they might drop more.
Well, look, last time RBX, I think, we had done a couple shows with you, and then it might have been one of our MMA hangs. You tapped in really late night. You gave us a tour of the sauna. You had like that, I don't know, guy in like chainmail kind of thing, a night in your bathroom. You were showing us the whole tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe next time you'll bust out the war chest on stream, but that'll probably have to be a nighttime thing.
Yeah. I can show you. I can show you one other one I got.
All right. Look at this. It's got the code.
Last time you had that. What's that? The Superman.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, this is like what they put all the cops use. They put in their boot, as like a second gun. So
yeah,
but yeah, it's just 38 special Smith and Wesson.
And you said you tuck that in your sock anytime you're playing online Pot Limit Omaha, just in case things get a little random.
Yeah, that's all I do. Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. And you won't even know I got it.
Yeah, Consigliere says this feels like a man who needs to live in Florida. You do give off pretty good Florida man vibes, RBX.
I love Florida, but this town that I live in, though, it's a very very conservative town too.
In New Jersey.
Yeah.
There's some conservatives left there.
Well, RBX, it was great catching up with you. Anywhere you'd like the people to follow you? Obviously, you're on Twitter, Instagram. Those are the only 2 places I know of for RBX content.
Just Twitter's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitter's cool with me.
Sounds good. Any other parting shots? Any other shots across the bow you'd like to take at these scammer touts?
I just let them keep rotting, I guess.
You got to ask him the question, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we kind of got our answer there, but we do officially have to ask it. Are you on team Run Pure Sports or Ship It Nation?
I mean, it's kind of, there's no shot. I think I blocked everyone on Run Pure Sports, or I have been blocked. So, Ship It Nation, obviously.
By default, just by default. Yeah. There you go.
You should put the graph up, Pete. The chart.
What chart?
Waiting for the perfect moment for that one.
Okay.
Saving that one for a rainy day, Brian. I have
Gotcha. All right.
But I feel like a rainy day will make that thing pop. All right. RBX, great catching up with you as always. I would say best of luck, but it seems like you got things figured out, man. It seems like you're living your best life.
Good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good lately. So yeah, I'm having fun.
Brian,
I'm having fun.
That's what matters. Brian, anything on your end? We'll get this audio up. Anything else?
No, I might do ownership, NFL ownership this week. I finally get the code to work and shit. And it looks like it might be a little bit different than the consensus, so maybe I'll throw that out there.
Yeah, and also check out the Draft Caddy. Been doing a ton more battle royales. You can use all of that to help. Brian has all those sliders on there too. If you want to add in correlation boost and all that kind of stuff, will help you multi-table. I plan to get in there and use that some more this week. I will be back tonight on the Ship Chasing channel. We have our companion stream for Brian's beloved Chicago Bears playing the Carolina Panthers in an absolute humdinger of a matchup. We're going to have Robert Mays as our guest. That'll be over on Ship Chasing. We'll spin up some pick'ems. If you guys want to sweat with us, we'll post those on the Twitter in a little bit. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out. Brian, I believe we have a guest booked for next week too, right?
Yes. I mean, it doesn't, I don't think it matters. We could say who it is, right?
No, keep it a mystery. We always got to keep people wanting more. You got to tune in next week to see our special mystery guest. Until then, for RBX, for Brick, I'm Pete. We'll see you guys next week.